Once Human just had its massive update revealed, we got all the plans for 2025, including the brand new roadmap. I'm going to detail everything from the dev livestream, as well as some additional things that weren't covered in that, or I had an exclusive briefing for it. Last up, we'll go over those community mentionables, which do include my biggest giveaway ever, which is one of the most sought after loot box skins, the Speedy Wings. So stick around for those details. What's up, world? This is Utopia back in with another video. Today we're checking out all things Once Human. Okay, so let's just jump right into the dev livestream. I'll go over some of the redeem codes, so if you do want to get some free stuff there as well. I'll put those on the screen for you now, so if you do want to get those 2 codes from the dev livestream, that will get you and net you 2,000 Starchrom, so you can snag those up. Moving on, let's get into the dev livestream. Some exclusive info that was provided to creators. One of the new systems here, and what is being called the first visional wheel, is called Lunar Oracle. This is launching on January 16th. So very soon here. They do mention that deviants will become much stronger, while metas will lose sanity. When the blood moon rises, new game modes will become available. There's also going to be mystical crates which will contain morphed deviations that will have new crafting abilities, which can be quite potent as we've seen with some of the deviations previously. There's also going to be the Prime Rage blueprints. Those apparently are going to be very strong. So some pretty crazy stuff with that visional wheel. Jumping over, they did address one thing here in the first half, where they mentioned that there is a lack of Endgame content right now, and they do plan to fix that by also implementing more weather mechanics in the first half of 2024. So some additional things like the Way of Winter had, trying to delve into some of that endgame stuff. We'll have to wait and see what else they do implement. Moving on though, we did have some brand new scenarios. The first one here is codenamed Purification. In this scenario, the wilderness will become continuously polluted by various dynamic events. Of course, that's going to affect players overall, where you must clear the pollution, and in doing so you can actually restore the world, so you'll have some influence on it there overall. In the dev live stream, they did mention that there's going to be some clear mechanics with it, so they'll make sure that it's not very confusing, and that there's also going to be some new endings tied with it. So some pretty cool and dynamic things that we haven't seen in Once Human before. Now this one is launching in Q3 of 2025. Next up, we do have another new scenario here that is codenamed Deviation. This scenario will be centered around deviation, and the core gameplay will be deviation battle. It is kind of like Pokemon battles, or at least akin to that. They're going to be adding new capture methods. You can raise deviations and even fuse them to create new ones. They even mentioned that you might be able to fuse a deviation with a chair, or at least furniture, to do different things. You'll also be building a stronger lineup. You'll have some quite epic battles there. They're going to be additionally adding some new deviations around that time. This is currently in creative development, so they're still working on it, and it's not exactly done yet, but this will be launching in Q3 2025. So we'll have to wait and see on all that and what they actually do with that. For the next scenario here, we have one called Code Broken. Now in the briefing, they do mention here that the scenario aims to provide players with a free and unrestricted PvP environment. They've introduced randomized mechanics that offer bonus resources during combat. That will also feature multiple endings with different rewards, where they do mention that those endings will be quite significant, be even more defining than the other scenario, Code Purification. Now this scenario will only last 10 days in total. It will be very short. The focus will be on combat, tactics, and individual skill, where you can ambush and even do territory raids. They're also going to be giving out bonus resources during combat. You'll be able to collect more, claim more, and do more. There's even going to be a little bit of a rust mechanic here where they do airdrop. Those will give significant advantages, powerful weapons that can impact the whole world. So pretty wild there, maybe some territory destruction weapons, just some things overall that are really going to affect the gameplay. And kind of like Rust with their airdrops, so some pretty cool stuff there, especially for the ones who do PvP. Speaking of PvP, we do have some prison versus class changes. They are fixing the cheating side of things, and they're also addressing one-sided factions even further. Now, of course, there has been some good stuff. There's been a lot of comments on this that they have fixed prison versus clash, and yeah, it doesn't seem as one-sided with a lot of servers now. They're also going to give the losing faction more opportunities to turn the tables and give even more fairness there. They want a nice even 50-50. They're also working on that terrain bug fix, where you can essentially see through someone's terrain if you are moving fast enough. It looks like we are finally getting a fix for that. I know it's been in discussion for quite a long time, especially since that was first showcased. And they're even working on a brand new anti-cheat system. Looks like they're coding this one in-house. At least potentially, that's what I got from that. So we'll have to wait and see there what they end up doing. Now they do mention that all scenarios will be tested on early access test servers. That's going to launch here within 2 months. So players will be able to test those new scenarios and be able to see what they're planning. and of course provide feedback there, so that way when they do officially launch, there will be some reworks. Speaking of reworks, we're getting a ton of changes in this Q1 2025, so we're not having to wait for everything until 2025 of Q3. The first one being massive here, a gender change starting on January 16th. If you're wanting to finally change your gender or swap it back and forth there, you will be able to do so through the creator screen, or basically using a mirror, and then using a change appearance token. They're also going to let you hide your backpack in Q1, so some really cool customizations there. They're also going to be introducing a new instrument. We've had the piano, but now they're going to be adding a guitar. That is something that you can play anywhere and others can listen to. So again, some really cool stuff there, just some more social aspects, which I definitely think the game does need a lot. Hoping to get more players talking in area chat. Pretty sure most people that play the game don't even know that there's an area chat. You can literally just talk to anyone at any time. Also, speaking of cosmetics here, there's going to be new events and modes after the holidays. And I've got a lot of comments on this about the cyberpunk-esque cosmetics that they've been adding. They are adding more battlefield cosmetics and Eastern-Western design, so more military-esque. Those will be coming in January and February. Moving on to some building features here. We are getting a ton of new features in 2025, and even as early as January 16th, they're going to be launching escape room components, allowing you to construct complex architectural puzzles with various traps, floor traps, and even enemies. That's going to be super cool to see in action. And down the line in the future, they're also going to allow you to make a shooting range. Just some awesome stuff there, and they are planning a lot of these reworks for Eternaland too, so Eternaland isn't being left behind. You can even earn your XP and get Starchrom in that mode now. Pretty cool if you're a solo player and just want to do that. Speaking opposite of solo play here, which next March they do outline here, they're also going to introduce even more components that will let you design PvP and PvE shooting mini-games. Just absolutely insane there with a shooting range or a mini-game. That is really cool to see. Speaking the opposite of solo play with Eternaland there, they are going to be introducing custom server functionality, where you can adjust and customize everything from tasks to storylines to how they play out, if they're PvP, if they're hard mode, or PvE. So there's going to be custom servers in Once Human. Now they do mention that is the first half of 2025, so it might be a little ways away or a little time after March, but still very cool to see. I never expected that. Speaking of March and around 2025, they did finally officially announce the mobile version, or at least when it is launching, which is April 2025. They are currently working on some last minute optimizations, and they do plan to launch this game on console, which they probably will get a more fully fledged game, as we'll have a lot of those scenarios. Guessing that's around the time it's going to launch, maybe Q3, Q4 of 2025. Yes, it is a ways away, but it does seem like this game has very strong plans. They also outlined some awesome optimizations here, where they're going to be improving lighting and cosmetics. There'll be improvements to shop, where you can also maybe potentially even change V. So the little bird that's floating around that you can summon, seems like they're going to let you change his appearance. They also do mention something cool here. There might be crossovers in the future. They can't outline anything right now, but it does look like they are working on some crossovers at the moment. So that'll be cool for the cosmetic side of things, and maybe even possibly game mode, as we've seen with other games like Apex. Now they do outline everything here in their full roadmap. It does essentially cover most, but in a summarized version here. You can see the different things I talked about with January stuff. February through March, April, May, and June would be the custom servers, where we're then also getting the early access to the new scenario. It does look like a little bit more than 2 months, at least that's what they said during the dev stream. I do believe maybe they meant 2 months before those scenarios would launch, but that's still pretty decent overall. And then Q4, they do have listed here that there's going to be a crossover event. So we are probably getting some crossover stuff, including the cosmetics and game modes. Very cool to see that overall. Now last up here is my community mentionable. That's everything from the dev live stream, including from my briefing stuff that they gave to creators, as well as the additional things that they covered during the dev stream. But that does bring me to my giveaway. This is the largest giveaway I've ever done on the channel, and that is for the Speedy Wings skin. Now I will have 4 codes to give away for that. It is the most expensive loot box that Once Human has ever had. I do believe it costs around $300 to $600 for some people. Absolutely insane that I have the opportunity to give them away to you guys. Again, as always, all of my giveaways will be hosted on the Discord. There is still some giveaways running right now, 10 Battle Pass codes, 10 Meta Pass codes, some other Cradle skins, etc. You can still enter into those, as those are still running for the next day or so. After those do end, I will then run the Speedy Wings and 10 more Battle Pass codes. Yes, I still have more to give away to you guys other than the Speedy Wings, so if you don't win one of those 4, you have plenty of chances to enter. Again, be sure to check out my Discord to catch on all the updates there. That's where I do post quite frequently. I make announcements, so if you do want to be up to date, that is there for you. I'll include a link to that in the description down below. Overall, that should about cover for today's video. If you like and subscribe, until the next one. Deuces!